The elastic has failed on this pair of underwear. It's interesting, I've been looking through and noticed that they've actually had a thread catch here, where it's not fed perfectly evenly. Rare you see that. However, interesting, never noticed it, but the elastic is no longer holding up, so I've decided to replace it. I've started with, if I can find it, just unpicking one set of stitches just to make it easier, and then it'll go quickly after that. So you can see here I've removed the stitching, and now that I've got that little bit done, so you can see the hole I've made there, with a stitch ripper it'll be quite easy to get through the whole thing. And then I have my new elastic here, which I will sew together in a ring and then attach to that in the normal fashion, breaking it into quarters and then just stretching it. I'm thinking, all being well, I'll use one of the stitches there, probably either that one, the multi-point zigzag, or the one right next to it. I could use the faggoting as well, but that one's better because it's got the stitches on both sides and the zigzag in the middle. So that will give it pretty much a similar look to what it's got now. Yes, I think that one will do. Alrighty, well I shall be back for the sewing once I finish ripping the stitches. I've attached the walking foot for this machine. I've pressed the locking stitch so it's locked, and I've put Seriflock in both the bobbin and the needle, and let's see what this looks like. That's quite a decent stitch. Now I will do the other side. Make sure before I do the next side that I haven't twisted it. Sometimes it happens when you're making the waistband, you twist it, so you end up with a twist in the middle and you have to unpick the whole thing, so it's always good to check. Okay, we'll lock this. And off we go. Locked. Perfect. So that worked rather nicely. Now, zooming out. So the next important bit is to mark the quarter point. So front center, rear center, and the sides. So I'll just lay this out evenly. Make sure it's lined up in the middle. It is, yeah. And we'll mark with pins is usually the best. Center back, which of course you can see because there's already a seam there. We'll do the center for the sides, and then center front, and do the same on the garment itself. Okay, that part's done. Now there's center front, so we can just lay these flat fact, even easier if I just line that up. That'll give me center back. Okay, there's center back. Now, the side seams. One down, and last but not least, perfect. Okay, so lining up the back with the back. And you just line up the 4 points and then we'll start sewing, so I'll be back in a moment. Starting at the back seam, just in case a bit of tension difficulties or whatnot, this just helps to make sure that all is regulated before it goes to the front where it's more obvious and I would see it. I don't generally inspect the back of things as often as I see the front. So I'll pull these pins out so they don't get in the way as we crawl over the hump. And then we can begin the stretching part, which, as you know, is important when doing the sewing. There. I'm sewing through the double thickness of elastic at the moment. It seems to be sewing flawlessly, which is nice. Okay. Stretchies time. This is where, all being well, I've got the foot pressure and the walking foot perfectly adjusted so that I can feed without any problem. Seems to be going well. Coming over my first seam. Let's hope it feeds past this. Yeah, it worked okay. Bit of assistance. Oops. Just realized my hand is in the way of the camera. Not very good. I'll try and keep it lower. coming up to the first quarter. Stitch up to the pins. Drop the needle. Perfect. Okay. Next quarter. So I've moved the camera a bit. Hoping that will make it a little easier to see what I'm doing. There we go. Coming to the center seam, center front. I need to pull out the needle, the pins in a second. Okay. Lift that because I need to push that center front underneath. Pull out the pins. One down. There's the other one. This tight. Perfect. Okay, here we go again. I pulled that out from under the foot, but that's okay. Shove that back in underneath. Don't need any tension right at this bit. Or you don't need to stretch every bit of the elastic. You can leave just a bit unstretched for certain parts. We've got over the center front now. Lower the needle and realign ourselves. There we go. Quite entertaining because all the years of saying never pull on your fabric, of course, when you get to elastic, that is not possible to avoid. I've just done a pucker. Oops. Haha. It happens, right? Well, we'll just do a little mini unpick, and then that will, I can fix that pucker. So you can see I've just done a little pucker right there. I need to unpick that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, pucker duly removed. Off we go again. Make sure we don't have any unpleasant surprises here with puckers again. That would be really irritating. Perfect. Ouch. Just stabbed myself with the pin. Okay. Ouch, did it again. Of course, as you know, with knits, it always is inclined to roll. And that's why it's being awkward at the moment. It's, you know, when it rolls over on the cut edge, it's definitely what it's doing at the moment, making it difficult to sew because you end up with 4 unnecessary layers because it's rolled over on itself. Okay, got it that time. Perfect. Now I can go. To do it again. It's just the way of it with knits. It always wants to roll over on itself. I tried starching knits once recently to see if making it super stiff would stop this rolling. The stretchy tape seems to be the best way to do it. Magic Wonder Tape, I think it's called, yes. It works. We're coming up to the next seam. Okay, pull out the pins, which are hidden underneath, of course. There we are. Okay. It's rolling again, just to be frustrating. Almost finished. Last seam here. See if we can keep this from rolling on itself. Seam, perfect. Just drop the needle there. And last bit here. Threads come out of the thread path on the machine, just the top bit, but that's okay, I'll put it back in, there we go. And last few centimeters. Perfect, done. Do the locking bit. Perfect. Okay. So that is done. Like that. So I could leave it just with the inside having the stitching. There's nothing wrong with it rolled around like that. However, you may wish to double stitch. So you can see on the inside, the way I did it like that, I just find it's easier to line up the edge of the fabric and the edge of the elastic, and then flip it over again for a second just to go over stitch to hold it down. So I will do that now, and then it'll be pretty much flawless on the inside. And I can use the free arm for this. Again, I will start at the back just to make sure there are no thread tension issues. And this time it'll be a little easier because it will hold itself in place. So I'll use the locking stitch on this machine. Okay, it's locked in place, and now we can go. You don't need to see me do this whole thing again. It's exactly the same as the other way, just easier to stitch this way. So simply now without as much fuss, because it's all held in place. You can see it gives a really, really good result there on the outside. Okay, bye for now.